This is International Masters of Formula R 2.0. We are in Sweden for this round 7 and 8, at the Vara Street Circuit. I am Campbell, I am joined by Nick.
Hello there.
And we had a good race last time out in Manicure, 2 good races in fact, and we're hoping for more of the same on the streets, although it is a very different circuit.
It's night and day really between the wide open spaces and long straights of Manicure and then the tight twisty Vara.
It is, it really is. This is a map of the circuit. It is lots of right angle corners, some fast sections, but it's looking like it'll be extremely difficult to overtake around much of the circuit.
Yeah, so you can see Garden there is probably the best chance to overtake, but we've seen in races before that non-typical places does produce a lot of overtaking with these cars, so could see more than there.
We could see more. After Manicure, Ollie Kay leads the standings on 76 points. He is 24 points ahead of Blairy in the defenders.
Of course, with Blairy having missed 2 rounds with drop scores in effect, he's in fact only 2 points ahead, so still very much a tight championship.
Very. And in the teams, Junior Motorsport leads on 111 points. There are 2 drivers having good seasons, and Monolith Motorsport are 4 points ahead in the teams championship, although Blair 1 and Steve Jones Racing aren't here this weekend.
You see a lovely paddock there. They've managed to squeeze all their motorhomes in and the hospitality areas.
Just about, yes, they've managed to get everything in. Here's Ollie Kay's pole lap if you would like to take us round.
Yeah, so going up pretty high speed despite being a street circuit. Already we're into the 130s, hitting up to 140 soon enough when we change up into 6th gear. And very tight through that kink there. And you just keep going and going and going, and soon enough you're going to find a very strong braking point and a slight lock up there by Ollie Kay, but he manages to keep the tyre rotating to manage the double right there. Perfectly on the throttle through, going up through the gears again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very aggressive gearing on the acceleration front here from Ollie Kay.
Surprising he doesn't occasionally lose the rear end. He's looks in total control, although very quick.
Yeah, you wouldn't guess without looking at the speedometer that he's going this quickly in this kind of car.
Yes.
He just looks so calm and kind of just sweeping, smooth, very little action on the steering wheel, which shows he's very comfortable with the car. And slightly riding the curve up. Obviously in the race you don't want to do it too much because it might send you straight into the barrier if you take it too aggressively. But on a pole lap he's just throwing everything he can. You see the first mistake of the lap, just a little sideways action through that left hand there, but he's straight on it again, collects the car very nicely onto another long straight before braking hard. Hits a tiny little bump there, but it doesn't manage to affect him too much. Sort of trail braking through those corners. You can tell he's really hard on this and really wants this pole.
Incredible driving skill on show here, and a very fast lap, which was good enough for pole position.
And now here they come up on the formation lap.
Hopefully it'll go a little smoother after some of the shenanigans of Manicure.
Yes, best to avoid bringing that up again.
yes, definitely. Our pole sitter leading the field out of the pits. He's
going quite slowly for formation lap, so obviously he doesn't feel the need to put too much heat and energy into his tyres.
The race director apparently told the drivers that they were to not go round at full whack like they did at Manicure. They've been warned. And is that the defenders' cars colliding at turn 2?
Yes. And I think that was one of the Javeries, was it almost, in fact did touch the barriers, and that's an independable, is it? Doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, even at low speeds, this is a very tight and tricky circuit to get right.
It's almost one of those things where, well, famously, obviously, Senna in Monaco in 1988, he slowed down and made a mistake because he slowed down. So they're used to taking these corners in very quick succession. So with a little more time to think about it, they might be overthinking it.
And we have a look at the grid now. Ollie Kay, as you saw on pole, 3 tenths ahead of Kimster and Blairy in the defenders, and less than a tenth separating 8th, 9th and 10th, Jim, Smidgey and Lynn at the back of the top 10, all with all just over 2.2 seconds off pole. And Dan for another very close by, who's extremely congested at the edge of the points positions.
Yeah, it promises to be very close then for those positions in a race.
Very, and Tommy 10.5 seconds off pole, having a very difficult weekend. And now several cars finding the wall on the outside there. Yeah,
one of the was it one of the defenders' car? No, it was the offenders' car.
Yeah, one of the offenders. So they come towards the end of the lap. These 90-degree corners can catch you out if you're not careful.
Good to see a quite healthy crowd here in Sweden. Obviously not much motor racing besides rallying and local championships.
Indeed. It is, ever since the Swedish Grand Prix was removed from the F1 calendar, there hasn't been that much in the way of action, so they're obviously keen to see what is an international series.
I just love how the starting line is between these pedestrian crossings. Hopefully there will be no one so stupid enough to attempt this during the race.
Hopefully not.
So we're just waiting for Tommy there to line up in the last grid slot, and then we will have the lights and we'll be away.
We will indeed. The drivers have apparently been warned to watch out for the... Someone just moving on the line. Watch out for the opening two kinks, because any collisions there are going to be at high speed and could be fairly disastrous. And we are off.
And there was a poor start there from one of that defender's car who was moving on the grid, so obviously a little bit nervous not to jump start. And it's very congested, people going too wide down this very, very narrow straight and through the kink, but Ollie K's being challenged. Is that Kimster in the lead?
Kimster's taking the lead, I think, just nudging the wall as he went through. And Ollie K trying to fight back, but no way through. And one of the tropical cars has got well up through the field. I believe that's Jim's. It is indeed number 91, the yellow car.
Yeah, an excellent start there by Jim's, just watching everyone ahead of him and picking off where he could to get the place.
Blairy attacking Ollie K for second place. The defenders out for another 1-2 like they had in the opener at Algarve.
So Kimsel there already has about 3 or 4 car lengths on Ollie K, so he's looking to break away quickly. Obviously with it being such a tight street track, you're not going to want to...
Oh dear, that's Burwellian and Croffey and I think Race Pro and Mr. Flobadop. And Lynn trying to get through is nerfed into the wall by Croffey as they all begin to get away again, but such are the dangers of street tracks, there's nowhere to go, and Mastron Wolf has lost a wheel. So
and most of his nose cone as well.
Yes. And Burwellian got into Croffey Burwellian got into Mastron Wolf and Croffey had his own spin up the road. As they were correcting themselves, Lynn came through. Lynn must have had an instant error earlier on in the lap because he started in the midfield.
So Kimster leads away on lap 1. He's maintaining that gap there. As I was going to say before, you want a good gap in a street circuit, because when you do eventually hit traffic, it's going to cost you, and the last thing you want is for the person behind you to have an opportunity to pounce on you after you're negotiating your way for the slower cars.
Yeah, when you're lapping or being lapped, you can take advantage of any confusion or hesitation and sneak through. We've seen that a few times in the past in various Really Obvious Racing series.
It seems that Kimster's got good traction when you're coming out of that second corner there, because Olike was a lot closer going into there, but as they speed out, Kimster just seems to stretch his legs out and build up that gap again.
Yeah, at this stage it looks like Ollie K is under more pressure from behind and particularly closing. And Jims is in the wall.
Loses place, but still in fourth.
No visible damage and just lost the rear end. Got corrected by the barrier. Lucky to have no suspension damage as Mastron Wolf makes it back to the pits.
It's going to be difficult to fix that, but we have seen miracles worked in these races before.
Yes, he will hopefully be out in time for the next race, but one suspects his race is run this time round. The front three is really starting to pull away from By Junior and Jims in fourth.
Really setting the pace early on as they come around here for these very enclosed spaces. It's brilliant if you actually manage to own one of these houses, because you've got a free race trackside seat.
rent out your balcony like they do in Monaco.
Indeed.
They go into lap 3. Kimster just maintaining his lead at the moment. He pulled away a loss in the first lap, but he's just maintaining the gap at this point as they come into the second corner, and probably it's the biggest braking zone on the track, but
Kimster in the wall. And Blairy, both kissing the the barrier there.
That will give Ollie Kay encouragement. You can see he's visibly closed up as a result.
But Ollie Kay there, he chose to defend from Blairy rather than have a go at Kimster.
He did. Kimster also worked to build up that gap again, but I guess that's why you do want a gap, in case something like that happens when you lose time.
Kimster a little bit tiptoey through that section, obviously just a bit shaken by that moment there in turn 2.
Still just pulling away gradually from Ollie Kay behind. But Ollie Kay seems to be better on the brakes and Kimster's better in traction zones.
Yeah, you can see it's quite a severe rear wing angle here we can see on Kimster. So maybe he's got a little more on there, or it could be a difference in suspension setup as well.
Possibly. This is a track being a street circuit, and despite some high-speed sections, you really want to have the grip through these slow corners, and PY James getting well out of shape, just brushes the barriers on his way through.
Seems to be copying Jim's ahead of him, having a very similar moment for that section.
Yes. It's very easy to get it wrong if your car's not set up just perfectly. You can find yourself having wild moments.
And Ollie Kay's in the slipstream there, but it's
Kimster just touching the wall again, but overtaking very, very difficult.
Ollie Kay just shows himself a little, but he knows he's not close enough to make any serious attempt here.
I would need a very ambitious lunge, which would probably be, certainly at this stage of the race, would not be advisable.
Certainly not. So Ollie Kay now has kind of composed himself. He's keeping pace with Kimster up ahead.
Those three seem to have the podium position sewn up already, barring any mistakes.
Kimster famously likes an oversteery car, and you can see through the corner it's just how the car naturally rotates by itself almost. So it looking very spectacular, but also conducive to a very good lap time around a circuit such as this.
Yes, Kimster's very much able to control oversteer more than many other drivers are, whereas other drivers often prefer nice safe understeer and are willing to sacrifice a small amount of lap time in exchange for the safety that gives you.
Well, okay, keeping close, obviously with it being a street circuit, lots of slow 90-degree corners, the aero effect isn't going to be as bad, so you can keep close to the car in front despite there being a high downforce setting.
It's definitely much less prominent than it would be at, say, Manicure or Nürburgring we were at next week.
Okay, not as close on this lap, but he's still got Kimster well in sight. There's a yellow flag out. We'll see.
Oh, Mr. Flobodov in a big accident. Oh, just
completely disintegrated the front of his car.
It's almost as if he turned in too early. As Ollie Kay gets out of shape, that's very uncharacteristic, and loses a place to Blairy behind.
And there's some smoke coming out this PY James.
No great surprise who that is.
We'll
be hoping that clears itself up.
He's using this special boost engine mode that we've seen before.
We have seen it before. We saw it at Estoril.
Snaking around there, trying to find a way around the back of Jim's, hitting the barrier again. It's amazing that these suspensions are holding up to such repeated abuse.
You have to be very careful though. Well, there's a warning there. You can see Mr. Flobodov's suspension, his teammate, from his accident. But you have to be careful if you are just brushing against the walls that you don't overdo it, because the results could be potentially catastrophic.
And PY James now is right.
Darts right, darts left, but isn't able to find a way past.
And there's a wheel somewhere.
Is that from Mr. Flobodov? Or
it looks like a separate incident.
It does. Is that from the lap 1 accident with Mastro and Wool?
It could be. It's amazing that although tyres are pretty heavy to pick up.
Or are we about to see it? Oh no, it's Burwellian. getting it all wrong and out of shape, and losing a wheel. And that's him out, not for the first time this season.
Oh, side by side now, PY James. Oh, it just ducks out of it. But James gets it all wrong, hits the barrier.
It's unbelievably close.
Oh. How these two cars are still even in the race is completely beyond me.
I'm very fortunate there wasn't any wheel-to-wheel contact, because that could have been a very high-speed accident. But they both continue on, fighting over 5th place. PY James seems to be faster, and Jim's just does what Ollie K did, but with rather worse results. He loses a lot more time, and that allows AGOK through.
Yeah, Jim's did something very similar early on in the race as well, although not to such a dramatic effect. So clearly finding it very difficult to put the power down, as we can see him snaking around there at the rear. But Blairy's caught right up to Kimpster now. It's going to be a battle between teammates for the lead.
We'll be hoping they don't take each other out.
And Blairy's got a run on him. They're going to go side by side through the front straight. This is incredible stuff.
That's brave.
And Blairy's slightly ahead. Oh no!
They make contact. Are they still running? They seem to be amazingly undamaged, at least visibly.
And they're still side by side. Oh god.
Kimpster not giving way, and that has allowed Ollie K back into this battle.
Unbelievable stuff.
Absolutely. The risk's been taken for the race win at this. We're not even at half distance yet.
Kimpster going very defensive there. He's going to be slow out this corner. He's going to allow Blairy a good run. He's not going to be close enough, but if he can follow through these next few corners, he might have a good run on him.
Many of these straights just aren't long enough to give you a proper run.
I did say Kimpster was happy with an oversteer setup, but he seems to be all over the place at the moment, perhaps feeling the pressure from his teammate.
He may have some underlying damage from his accident as well. The collision of Blairy. Alongside, and he's nudged by Ollie K, by the looks of it, and Ollie K waiting up, and nearly takes out by Junior.
So that's cost both of them very dearly indeed.
They've both lost 2 places, and any realistic shot at this stage of catching Kimpster in the lead.
The replay of that incredible side-by-side moment between the two defenders.
And Blairy just moves across Kimpster's line.
That's not on.
Very lucky, especially against his teammate, to not have significantly more damage.
Kimpster has a rather flowery vocabulary at normal times. I can expect we'll hear more of that after the race.
I can expect so. We may need to get the bleeper ready for the interview. And this was, just too hot, and he got into the back of...
And one of the Independables in trouble.
That's Tommy. I think he was just slowing to allow the leader through. And PY James now has Blairy and Ollie K behind him.
So after that terrific three-way battle, it seems that Kimpster, all he has to do is just keep his nose clean and can collect the victory.
It would appear so, but we still have the race to go at this stage. Anything could happen.
Certainly seemed before the incident we saw there between Ollie K and Blairy that Kimpster was suffering from a bit of understeer, so it could come back to haunt him again.
It could well. And he's still not that far ahead. He's maybe about 8 or 9 seconds. Keep the gaps.
But whilst we have lost the battle for the lead, we certainly do have an incredible battle for second place. 4 cars.
Bai Junior seems to be holding the 3 cars behind him up a little bit, and PY James spins
backwards.
That'll cost him 2 places to Blairy and Ollie K, and he's pissing because he's lost his front wing in there.
That was very fortunate to have the accident there.
Yes, minimal possible distance to have to go round, but he'll lose probably about 30 seconds in the pits, and that promotes AGOK up to 5th. He's been going along on his own, largely minding his own business, as Croffey has gone straight on and up the escape road. Has he done any damage? Ooh, just locked up.
slight as of touches. It shouldn't have damaged anything significantly on his car. Maybe a little slight bend on the front wing.
Yes, he should be able to continue unabated as Blairy hounds by Junior for the lead. Is that Kimster up ahead, or is it a back marker? I suspect it's a back marker.
And oh, he's getting wide there.
Ooh! Getting very close there.
That was a very harsh defence there.
Yes, a almost brutal chop across.
It was either perfectly timed or incredibly cynical.
As Tommy gets out of the way to let these through, battling over the 2 remaining podium places.
So he must be having a horrible time of it there. Just nothing will work in his car, and he just has to crawl around and let people by all day long.
Blairy's got to run, but we're on the outside, and you can have a big accident at this corner. Round the outside.
Oh, he's managed it.
But you'll have the inside. What a move!
Oh.
That is not a normal overtaking spot.
Very brave stuff by Blairy there, but he had to get it done.
He had to get it done, and Will by Junior let his teammate through, who is, after all, fighting for the championship.
He's defending. It's been hard but fair. I think he knows he's not really going to be able to defend too long, so he might as well let him go.
I think that's what he did think. Allows teammate who's, as I said, fighting for the championship with the 2 defenders' cars, so he needs all the points he can get from this race and every other.
Of course, it's only round 7, but as things stand, Blairy would be the championship leader with drop scores in effect. So
yes, with drop scores in effect.
It's never too early to think about the championship. You hear a lot of drivers saying, "Oh, it's only round 4, it's round 7." Still so many races to go. I'm just thinking about getting the best possible result. It's never too early to think about championship. You're just as likely to lose it with a mistake in race 1 as you are with a mistake in the last round.
Yes, drop points can, with silly accidents or other retirements, can come back to haunt you when you need the points most at the end of the season. And I'm sure certainly the top 3 who are all fighting for the championship will be thinking along those lines as we see Blairy starting to defend from Ollie Kay.
Nose to tail for that section.
They certainly are. And how brave is Ollie Kay feeling?
It takes such incredible skill to follow a driver so closely without hitting him, although of course we did see him hit the back of him earlier, so
yes,
even the best can get it wrong sometimes.
They can indeed.
And Ollie Kay now has a slipstream. You can see him visibly closing up here to Blairy. Is he going to be brave enough to go around the inside?
Ooh, just got cold feet at the last moment. Discretion the best part of valour.
Yeah, when you get an opportunity like that, your first instinct often is to think, okay, I'll hold back a bit. Jims is in the pits.
I'm guessing he had an accident somewhere around. Just got out of shape, and that was enough to push him into the wall.
Must have some kind of suspension damage.
You'd assume so. He just wasn't able to correct the car in time to make the corner and was too late to go down the escape road. And so I'm guessing he's lost his front wing there. And that'll probably drop him out the points at this stage.
Well, okay, just kissing the battery there.
Has to be careful of that. You don't want to accidentally do a lot of damage.
You can see here, after the carnage of the last laps that we've had, they're treating the curves with a lot of respect, a lot more respect than they did in qualifying.
Yes, well, in qualifying, if they've got spare cars and... Is that Blairy going wide? No, he's just taking a line. In qualifying, they have spare cars, and if they knock the front wing off, it can be changed. Whereas in the race, if you knock the front wing off, you will lose around 40 seconds getting it changed.
That's what we saw before.
It was, yes. Ollie Kay again getting into the back of Blairy, just being caught out again by the speed differential on parts of the track. And all of this, you feel, is allowing Kimster a fairly easy run at the win. Well, I say fairly easy, obviously, to keep up good speeds.
Yeah, so obviously you can
he's not having to fight directly for it.
Yeah, it's easier not to have to fight for it, but your mind can wander sometimes. Oh!
And Ollie Kay spun!
Speaking of minds wandering, he just misjudged that corner.
It seemed to, and that puts him behind his teammates. But he's a far enough gap behind him to, I believe, AJ okay.
He lost it under braking.
We'll just lock the rears up. I have to be careful of that, because if you're at a higher speed car to the track, that could be a race ending.
I was going to say, Bai Jr. was doing well to keep quite close to him, and he's benefited from his teammate's mistake. He's on the podium, which would only be his second podium of the season.
Yes, he's won races before, won a race before at Macau last season in the touring cars. Yet to win a race this season, but he'll be looking to collect as many points as possible to help his team in the championship, keep them ahead of the defenders.
So with only 4 laps left to run, the first 4 have spread out quite evenly. AJOK as well further back in 5th. So barring any mistakes, this might be a cruise to the flag.
With only 3 and a bit laps to go, it looks likely. Although Ollie K might try and catch his teammate ahead. So we have another yellow flag out somewhere.
And Independables.
And Tommy has hit the wall, and how much damage has he done?
He seems to be able to... Oh, he's lost his front, right.
He'll presumably just limp back to the pits and retire, or just park and retire.
That might be the safest bet, considering how far he is away from the pit lane.
Yeah, and whereas Astronaut Wolf at the start was right at the back and on his own, whereas with leaders coming through, he doesn't want to inadvertently take one of them out. And he should be back for the next race. We watch Kimster going round, making steady progress to the flag under no immediate pressure from behind, and unless he makes a mistake, likely to take his 3rd win of the season?
I think it would be his 2nd win.
Yeah, he only had the 1 win at Algarve.
He won first time out, wasn't it?
Yes. And his first...
Still trying very hard there, trail braking through that section. Kisses the barrier.
He doesn't want to risk doing what you talked about earlier, slowing down and getting out of the zone and making a mistake like that. It's often safer just to keep going, keep pushing.
Pushing sensibly is definitely the mantra when you're leading on your own.
Yes.
Just a 10th here, a 10th there, keeping the gap up a little bit, but not letting yourself relax too much.
And not pushing too hard and undoing all your good work with an ill-judged ride over the curb or whatever.
I spoke about Senna in Monaco before, obviously being the most dramatic example. Kempster almost does the same thing.
Yes.
But I remember once Mika Hakkinen in I think it was the 1998 Japanese Grand Prix, came off the Schumacher was out of the race, he slowed down and he lost 3 seconds in 1 lap, so it's very easy to lose huge chunks of time if you don't mind what you're doing.
Yes, it is extremely easy to do. Kimster's won enough races to not be affected by leading, but some drivers, when they find themselves in the lead, almost panic and slow down to such an extent they end up throwing the race away. Is this by? No, that's Ollie K.
Oh, it's by Junior.
Just getting it wrong at turn 2 into the first major braking zone, clipping the wall. Seems to have got away with it.
P.Y. James's boost hasn't worked this race. He's sliding all over in his oil.
And he's down in 11th. Oh, that looks race ending. That's where his teammate went off as well. Both offenders' cars coming to grief in the same place.
Coffey in a very solid 10th place here.
Another solid lower points position for him. He's racking them up.
Newcomer to really rubbish racing. He's doing the sensible thing. He's just learning the ropes. He's not trying any hero actions in his first few races.
No, and he's chasing Smidgey, it looks like, who seems to have lost some places.
He does appear to be crawling around those corners.
Or is that Jim's? Number 91.
It is Jim's.
It is Jim's. So Jim's in 8th. being chased by Croffy.
Intense, so the graphics for the live timing must be down a bit.
Yeah. So either Jim's is in 9th or Croffy's in 9th. We'll wait for the graphics to appear again on the side of the screen to find out for sure.
You do get sometimes ridiculous glitches like people being 40 minutes behind someone else.
Yes, they usually write themselves though. As Kim Sturt goes on to the final lap. Lap 16 out of 16. 25-minute races. He's comfortably ahead of Blairy, who appears to be comfortably ahead of Ollie Kay, and AGOK has gone up to 4th, overtaken by Junior, who's had some kind of major drama. Maybe instigated from his collision of the barrier at that corner on the right a lap or two ago.
And in 6th place is Smidgy, which is a very good run for him, and Dan Thorne right behind him.
Both them having relatively trouble-free runs to the flag and getting solid points as their reward.
So we're just seeing everyone go through the last two corners for the final time.
That's by Junior. He's lost his front line. We'll explain. Ollie Kay, AGOK behind him. That graphic being a little preemptive. And AGOK breezing through. By Junior not able to really mount any kind of defence with no front wing, but he should make it to the end.
Yes, if he's lucky he'll keep that place. I think he's too far ahead of
Smidgy is with a lap to go. Coming into the final corner is Kim Sturt to win his 2nd race of the season and 15 precious points towards the Drivers' Championship.
And Blairy not too far behind, but Kim's will probably slow down a lot in the last lap just to bring it home.
Yes, Blairy 2nd, so for Defenders 1-2.
That's going to be very good for them in the Teams Championship.
They will be making up good ground on Junior's road, especially with Bai Junior having problems in the last lap. So they make their way in their slowing down lap through the 3rd and 4th corners. There's Ollie Kay in 3rd. And the streets of Vara having some fairly close running at times. Not a huge amount of overtaking as we might expect, but the racing was close, and Kimster has stopped. Oh, and he's hit by his teammates, unsighted, coming around the corner.
That is so embarrassing.
Who's hit by Ollie Kay. Oh dear. Hopefully they'll get these cars repaired in time for the next race.
Now, was that an accident, or am I being too cynical in suggesting that might be some kind of deliberate sabotage there?
Oh, that's very cynical. And confirmation of the results. Kimster winning, as we see AGOK go past. Of the top 10 on the lead lap, Croffy in 10th, and Jim's in 9th. Smidgy, as we said, bringing it home in 6th for good points.
Dan Thorne was right behind him there. Shame we didn't see more of that.
Yeah, didn't see much of him, but he had a good steady race. Lynn in 8th for reverse grid pole in the next race. Race Pro in 11th from top of the Independents. Tommy WTF1 classified, but as we saw, he has an accident. And PY James, Mr. Flop Llewellyn, Master Aunt Wolf were all crashed out, and G Coops didn't start due to an unfortunate disconnection. Not the carnage at the start we were expecting.
It seemed to spoil. Apart from that,
it just happened further around the lap.
Oh.
And it was a good win for Kimster, who avoided most of the dramas, apart from a very, very, very close shave of his teammates.
Yeah, textbook street course victory from Kimster there. Did all the right things at the right times.
Almost lights to flag once he got past Ollie Kay.
I see PY James struggling there with the oil, which is why he finished so far down.
Yes.
Rogue tyre from Llewellyn.
Yep. One of several to fall victim to the Vara streets.
And then this incredible moment between the defenders for the lead.
They were very close in terms of pace, but it was Blairy who was caught up in more incidents, which allowed Kimster to take the win. And we saw the although there wasn't much overtaking, this crocodile going through the streets was certainly very exciting to watch, very tense, proving that overtaking isn't everything.
Certainly isn't.
And that's probably just as well on a street circuit.
Yes, you've always got your low expectations on street circuits for the amount of overtaking, but the quality when it happens certainly is higher because of it.
Yes, and we see the carnage caused by Kempster running out of fuel on the slowing down lap. He must have been running very close to the edge. We will be back next time for round 8.
See you there.